Episode 52. Episode 52. That's 1 year of Chummy Thumbs into your ear holes. If we're talking specifics, 1 year to the date for episode 1 was technically May 8th. Somewhere in the last year, we had a couple of weeks where we had double up episodes and somewhere we missed out. But that doesn't matter. We're still 52 episodes behind us. And that is a big feat. I just want to look back very, very quickly to the very first episode that you would have heard from us. It was titled Nerd Ropes. We toyed around with a few demo episodes to find our voice, how we sounded on mic, what our dynamics would be, how the jokes would land or how the jokes would not land, what our individual personas would end up being like. Needless to say, I think we found each other in those pre-episodes and the dynamics very early on. The first episode had a moment of pure, genuine spontaneity. Justin, you pulled out a Nerd Rope candy from your backpack, followed very, very closely by Shao, had also brought Nerd Ropes to the first episode that he pulled out of his backpack. Completely spontaneous. And it happened during a heavy topic as well. So it was just a moment of pure organic bliss. And it was then, that very moment, that I knew that we would have the chemistry to make this show whatever we wanted it to be. Since then, there hasn't been an episode where we've missed being all together to record. Not even when country separated us, and I'm not talking about where I live, because these guys like to joke about how far away I am, because I'm technically in the same city. But there was still a certain magic when the three of us hit the record button and the mics were hot. We'd roll and we'd create something that generally brings me joy week in and week out. And I'm sure these boys would say the same, hopefully. Who knows? Maybe they're just humoring me. Now, while we have tweaked and tinkered with the format delivery in this past year, we have remained constant in being real, bringing the jokes both at the world and at each other because we care, and laughter is what brings us all together. We have our listeners who we want to thank for tuning in each episode. Even those that don't, we still appreciate you stopping by. To see this show go international in multiple countries was also like a wow moment, and it's really cool to see. We will continue to bring you the best of us in each episode, or the worst of us, because it all equals the same thing, so that you, the audience, can enjoy or get serious sometimes and laugh a whole lot, because these three chummy thumbs here wouldn't be where we are without you. Now, I've had my little 1 year monologue to start us off, but I'm going to pass it on to these two fine gentlemen. So take it away, Mr. Shao, reading Crying in the bathroom, I'm guessing.
Hayden, that was a beautiful...
That was beautiful.
Little
that was very good.
Heartwarming thing.
I didn't want it to end.
Yeah. Thank you for preparing that. It's been a really, really good year. And I've really enjoyed my time. And I don't want to get too sentimental because we got a show to get to, but I want to say that was lovely and thank you for doing that. Hayden mentioned about we had tinkered with the format over the course of the year and tried different things. And actually today is another day. Why not? It's kind of on par for the course. Is that the thing? On par for the course? That's it, right? That's like
that sounds right.
Thing. It's a golf thing, right? You're par on the course. That means it's totally average. I don't know. Anyways, we are doing a little bit different. We didn't watch a particular show or movie this week. We decided we're each going to do a little 15 to 18 minute segment on our choice. Shao is going to kick off the show with we're going to talk about some video game adaptations. And then we're going to go Hayden. We're going to talk about some things that, affected us as we watched when we were growing up, or moved us in a certain way, or touched us inappropriately, whatever it may be. We're going to talk about that stuff. And then we always end up in a game. That's one thing that's been consistent. And I was thinking, man, what am I going to do? And I just thought it'd be fun to look back at our journey over the course of this year. And I found a way that we can put that into a little game, but I'm not going to give too much away. We'll end with that. So stay tuned. This should be a fun show. And I'm going to throw it to Shao, and he's going to talk more about what he wants to talk about.
Thank you. Thanks for that lob. Before I get into what I want to talk about, I do want to have my little quip about, doing this year-long journey with you guys, everyone, listeners, and you too, gentlemen. It's been it's been really fun, and it's always been something I look forward to, just in the week, when the start of a week, because we record beginning to midweek, so it's something to look forward to after a nice long weekend, and then you think, oh, Monday's rolling around, but I get to have a nice little chat with my Chummy Thumbs, and it's you know, it's just easy. It's very easy, and cheers to another 52
Cheers.
52.
at least.
At least.
All right. So as Justin mentioned, I did. We suggested that because it's our 1 year show, we can each talk about something that we kind of wanted to talk about. Maybe it's something we will revisit later on. Who knows? But I've always wanted to talk about a topic that is very near and dear to me. I'm not sure about these guys, but we'll find out. So I do want to jump into the world of video games. As you all know, there are a lot of video game, not remakes, but video game movies, more and more coming out now. I think they announced there's going to be a Zelda live action movie coming out next year or the year after. I don't remember. But more and more so, there's a lot of, video game content and topics and movies. Video game industry, of course, is a huge industry. And but before we get into video game movies, I'm very curious as to if you two grew up playing a lot of video games in your households, because I'm the youngest of four, and my oldest brother, he was very smart, and he was able to find ways to get games for us that
Elaborate. Did he have sticky fingers? Sticky, not stinky, Hayden.
So I was blessed in a household with infinite games, a library of any games. We have a lot of consoles. Every time I think weekly, my dad used to take us also to Blockbuster as well to rent whatever game. Oh, by the way, Blockbuster is a place. No, I'm just kidding. No, so actually, seriously, maybe people don't know. Blockbuster is a place that you used to rent videos and games, and you return them after a few days. And it was always a highlight for me going to Blockbuster. But I remember growing up, just all the times I would meet up with my cousins to play Mario Kart or even just watch my brother play certain games on the Super Nintendo. That's the one I grew up with, because I guess, age wise. Hayden, I think did you and Luke, or did you play video games in Down Under?
Before you answer that question,
Yeah.
because I don't want to forget, I tried writing it down so I'd remember, but I wrote down, oh no, I don't want to do that because it'll give away. Best part equals worst part, because I was thinking of that. And when you're talking about going to Blockbuster and looking for video games, dude, when I think about what I miss most about going to Blockbuster, it's not renting the movie, it's not renting the game, it's looking and flipping and pulling out the DVDs and reading the back and looking at the games. I was thinking, that's the best part about Blockbuster. I miss that. But then I thought, well, fuck. But that's what I hate most about all the streaming services now. You could spend 40 minutes flipping Netflix and you're like, what the fuck? I just need to pick a show. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. That's where my mind went. Hayden, yours.
Mine. So yes, I grew up with me and my brother, and we time out, time back in. Yeah, Down Under. We had video games there. We got them at the same time as the rest of the world as well. They were just usually more expensive. I know. We didn't get DVR until the 22nd century, but 21st century. Sorry, I jumped forward. Okay. It's still not there. It's still not there. Okay.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's coming. But when my brother and I were young, we got, funnily enough, from two different parents, because my mum and dad split when I was very young. And so from one set of parents, I got the Sega Master System. And then... Sega.
I think it's the wrong way of saying Sega.
Sega?
It's the wrong way of saying
exactly. You even said it the way they said it on this console.
That's the Americanized version. It's like Nikon and Nikon. Come on, guys.
Okay, we do not have time to go down this rabbit hole on this. No.
Nikon is how the Japanese say the brand, and you North
What do they
Americans
know?
say.
No, I'm just kidding.
I don't know. They
Yeah,
just
well,
invented it.
Get them to read a sentence. Do I have to?
Nikon.
I thought by now you guys would understand that when I say words differently, but if I have to say it Canadianized, I will for the sake of our listeners.
Okay, no, go ahead and say Sega.
Sega. So I had a Master
Sega.
System, and then we also got given before the modern consoles do the different versions of the same thing. Sega did the same thing. They did a Master System and they did a Master System 2, but it was essentially the same thing, but they just changed the size of it from the big one to a more compact version. So we had both of those consoles in the house, which meant we could have one in the kitchen and one in the family room.
Kitchen. Nice.
Kitchen. Yeah, we had a tiny little
What's a
30
kitchen?
little centimeter. Yeah, what's
Shao
a
grew up without
kitchen?
a kitchen, Hayden. Do you have to rub it in his face all the time?
Yeah,
You
it's
know that.
lucky.
You know.
Hey, we had a nice little house. It was an ex-Govy naval base house. Well, not naval base, but like the military
What
lived
did
there.
you just say?
An ex-Govy house. You don't have them. It's like the projects, but not. It was in suburbs, but
Yeah.
it was sort of they built them for the military, and then they repurposed them to regular folks. But it was a great neighborhood, but I won't go into all of that. But we had the two consoles, and each of them, I was talking with Shao about this, had Alex Kidd in Miracle World built in to the console, and that was one of the greatest games ever. If I do,
Justin,
say so myself.
are you familiar with these titles?
No, because
Here we
if
go.
anybody ever asked me to come over to their house and play a Sega, I would probably run away and tell my parents that somebody
yeah.
They let an illegal alien into the country.
Well, you like elitist
I
for
didn't grow
Nintendo
up-
only.
I've never heard of it. I never played Sega. The only Sega game I ever played is probably Sonic the Hedgehog. Well, no, I played Mortal Kombat. I guess a buddy of mine had a Sega, but I grew up with all Nintendo, so that game was unfamiliar to me.
So I'm guessing you had your obviously the Super Mario's and the Mario Kart.
Oh yeah, I grew up.
Street Fighter.
Started regular Nintendo, Blades of Steel, Duck Hunter. You got the little gun that you could plug in, and you'd go
Duck
behind
Hunt,
the
yeah.
couch.
And that
the
freaking
dog
dog
would
that comes
retrieve
up.
it. Yeah, and then we got to Super Nintendo, and that's when I had to kind of start fighting off my mom because we got this Jurassic Park game, and I'd come home from school and she'd be fucking playing it. I'm like, Mom, it's my turn for the.
What are you throwing bows at your mom?
Yeah, well, she was tough, man. She had to put up with me, but she was playing Jurassic Park or is it Dr. Mario, where like the pills would come down?
Yes. That's my dad's favorite.
And then N64, and then Xbox, PlayStation. So that was sort of my progression. I never really hit like the Cube, the Switch, Sega just through a friend, Dreamcast, any of that shit I never really played.
That was before its time, and
Yeah. Was there, Hayden, I'm gonna throw it back to you. Was there a game that you remember playing that you were very hooked onto? I mean, there are games I remember, and still now or recently, I would throw in so many hours a day into playing.
yeah, when we progressed from, we didn't go to, I think you called it the Sega Genesis this side of the world, like the next version. It was called a Sega Mega Drive in Australia, which I think is also probably the Japanese name as well. But we didn't
hate
do
you
that.
so much right now, Hayden. Can you just for this show? Can you call this Sega, please?
Sega.
I swear you're trying to say it. You're trying to say it as many times as possible.
Sega. So after that, we held on to it for a while, and we got the PlayStation. And then we were one of the first families to have. My brother and I lined up at midnight for PS2, PS3, and PS4, I think. But when PS2 came out, one of the launch games was Tekken Tag.
Oh, Tekken. There we go.
So we used to play a lot of Tekken 3 on the PlayStation 1, but then I really put the hours in on Tekken Tag when that came out. Like religiously.
Yeah.
Jin and far out, I'm gonna hit myself because I can't remember his name. Yoshimitsu.
You know the guy he's in every single Tekken game.
Yeah, as is Jin Kazama. So it's like those are my two dudes. That's the fighting one, and I just even when we used to have a bowling alley across the road from my college, and they had Tekken and
You
like, Street
didn't go
Fighter.
to college. Anyways.
Year 11 and 12, college in the ACT. High school for you other folks. And I used to even put money in for Tekken and Street Fighter when I was out in public as well. So that was the game. That was my go-to fighting games.
You didn't do any Crash Bandicoot?
Oh, Crash as well. Crash
Yeah.
Bandicoot. Like my games, and this is why I stopped playing games of late, because I feel like I say of late, the last like 15 years, there was a push when next gen came out to like Call of Duty style games. I was not a fan of those types of first person shooters, so I was like, platform gaming and RPGs were like my jam. And yeah, there are still really good ones, but they didn't get the limelight that they once had. So Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon.
I believe in Australia they call it Spyro.
Spyro the Dragon. They also had, like, because I didn't have Nintendo.
Bandicoot.
He was Australian. Why would he be any different? A Bandicoot is Australian. So.
Sorry, Shao. I think I just saw stuff spill at your nose.
Went down the wrong pipe.
You choose the one character that's already Australian and you fuck it
I
up
know.
even more.
Oh god. Yeah, Crash was huge.
No,
I think,
but that's how the Japanese call it.
Yeah. I think Crash was the replay value in Crash was huge for me because you can go back to get the gems and then the gems will unlock emeralds or whatever. So that was fun. Justin and I actually, when we graduated, and even when we were still in film school, we played a lot of Chell, which is a short name for NHL on the PlayStation. Oh wait, no, you had the Xbox, right?
No, so I was
VCR player.
Xbox. So I started Xbox and then did that all the way up to the 360. I don't know if you guys were ever Xbox people, or maybe some of you listeners know. It used to get this thing called the Ring of Death, and if you got the fucking red ring around, that was it. It was toast. So I'd already had to replace it, and then Xbox One was coming out, and then PlayStation 4, and I was like, I need a new one. I'm upgrading. Do I make the switch to PlayStation? And then I made the switch, but I was Xbox all the way up until that point.
Yeah,
but we'd get to your place, and man, we would play some serious Chell.
We would play some Chell. I mean, I went over to your place to play some Chell too, and then we usually, Justin and I would usually team up, and there are sometimes some certain NHL games, there's the 20, NHL 18, 19, whatever. There's a couple that had exploits where you're almost guaranteed a goal.
Was it 94? If you did like a one-timer, it was like he scored.
Yeah, and there's another one where it's like if you do a wraparound, it's like almost a guaranteed goal.
Yeah.
But those are I just love co-op games. I just love being able to play with other people. I mean, just seeing where video games are going now and have been going in the direction of, more interactive, open world. Just I always think if you take someone back in the day and then you make them somehow get them to travel in time and watch what video games are like now, I feel like they would lose their minds. I mean, obviously it's the same for movies, right? The movie special effects or CGI or animation,
they would think it's real.
It's cold. Yeah, exactly.
If you didn't tell them it was a movie and you showed them something, be like, oh my gosh, we just found this footage, and you showed them that. I wonder if they would think it's real because they'd be so used to like.
Well, no, I mean, just now I feel like there's a lot of VR stuff that's coming up as well. And that is obviously, I think it's going to that direction, like more and more VR games and interactive games or things that are augmented reality and stuff like that. But before I wrap up this topic, I am curious if you guys can think of either the best or worst or both, if you can think of right in the spot, video game adapted movies that you can think of watching that you either really liked or really thought missed the mark. For me, for example, I remember as a kid going to watch a fucking Super Mario Brothers movie with Leguizamo, I think, Dennis Hopper, I think was in it. But anyway, it's a Super Mario Brother movie, and I was like, what the fuck is this? As a kid, even I was like, this is just so wrong. Obviously, they came out with a Super Mario Brothers movie, I think, a few years ago, and that was pretty fun. That was a good movie, but I think that was one of the worst ones. As for the best video game movie, I thought about this. I can't really pinpoint one, but I think one that stands out to me, it's not an adaptation, but it's video game oriented, is I really like the Wreck-It Ralph series, not series, but the two, those are really good. And just seeing the characters wandering in like that Great Hall area that they don't even have any words, it's a cameo kind of like walking by. It's like, oh, cool. It's, you know, Zangief or it's Bowser or whatever. That was really cool. And they kept the actual look of it, right? So I appreciated that.
Yeah.
Hey, Justin, can you think of anything? Best or worst?
Yeah.
Or both?
So what I'm thinking of is for the best, it's got to be Ready Player One for me. I love Ready Player One, and the way they use the future, this futuristic idea of where video games are going, but yet they keep some of the like OG and nostalgia there in that world. I really love that movie. I can't think of a worse, but I do want to say, going the other way, I'm going to flip it, because what did pop into my mind, but it's the opposite. It's a video game being adapted off a movie, and it has to be, and this is for me where video gaming really became, this is something I can do with my buddies. I know there's many games before this, but GoldenEye on N64, that fucking changed the gaming industry landscape for me. And that's where you started, like, that was, you know, the egg that hatched the Call of Duties, the Fortnites, the PUBGs, all this shit. Yeah. So those are my two.
Great pick. Odd Job, big Odd Job.
Dude, fan. Odd Job, you go, slappers only, no Odd Job. That was like, there used to be a time when you could say that, like, in certain people of a certain generation, I could say that to. Odd Job, no slappers, and they know exactly what I'm talking about. Because Odd Job was short, and if you did slappers only for kill, people would pick Odd Job, and then they would crouch, and you couldn't fucking hit him, and he would just come and ankle slash everybody. Yeah. So it would just be like, when it'd be like slappers only, no Odd Job, that like became a thing, you know?
Hey, quickly, do you have any off the top of your head? Is it a Sega game or a...
most recent video, I haven't seen the new Super Mario.
I see what you're doing there. I was like, what is Shao talking about?
I think he's trying to say Sega. Sonic the Hedgehog movies, they're really fun, really good. I haven't seen the third one yet. I'm very glad that was a film that actually listened to the fan base when they initially brought out the first character model of Sonic, and it was absolutely horrible. And they went back and reshot everything. Smart move. One of the worst, but it's also campy and cult classic-y, was the Street Fighter film with Van Damme and Kylie Minogue and...
Oh, or they did the Mortal Kombat movie too.
And that.
Yes.
Oh.
But like the Street Fighter one was so bad. Like Van Damme was so heffed up on coke the whole time that it was just like bad. But I've watched it a couple of times, and also like the Double Dragon movie. I was like, that's so bad. But I watched them anyway. But yeah, I remember vaguely seeing this Super Mario Brothers film, Shao, that you're talking about, and I'm like, this is nothing with the video game. Not that I grew up with Nintendo, but I had family friends that had Nintendo, so I knew the games obviously, and I played them. But
would you grow up again with Hayden?
Sega, and then PlayStation.
PlayStation. Well, thanks for indulging me with this little topic, because video games are very close, near and dear to my heart. And it's always fun to learn other people's kind of what they prefer and how they play and what they like to play if they don't even like to play. But maybe this is something I'll revisit later on, and when we can talk more in depth about it, because I think we barely scratched the surface.
Please.
I have a fun story.
Anyways, on that segue, let's go to your topic.
Ooh, that's a good one.
No way you just did that. Are you kidding me? That's Shao.
Keeping that one in.
That's it.
Yes, that was... Cheers.
Cheers.
I pay that. So, Shao likes to talk video games. I like to talk video games. Justin obviously likes to play video games. He likes to talk them too.
Obviously, what does that mean? What does that mean?
Well, obviously, it means to see if I can get a rise out of you. It's like the year-long goal. Who can I piss off the most? Most recently, with the word Sega. But for those of you that are those of you that are repeat listeners, and even if those of you that aren't, we all met each other through Vancouver Film School. So we obviously have a love for the art or the commerce of cinema. So when we came to the 1 year and we were like, let's figure out something sort of more like late night showy, and we all had segments each. I was like, what am I going to do? I had no freaking idea what I was going to do up until like a day or two ago, because I spent the edit after last week's episode, and then I was just like, I've barely had a chance to think about this. But anyway, I was like, well, what are a couple of like films or TV shows or anything that kind of influenced my adolescence and my adulthood? So I thought I'd be very clever and make the word adolescence and adulthood together and made adultescence as a new word. So the segment that I'm going to present to you boys is adolescence. I can't even say the word. Adultescence impressions. Now, they gave me so much shit last week for not getting enough pre-time to answer questions genuinely. But I did get genuine answers from them because they were on the spot. I gave them a little heads up on this one on what it was. So I wanted them to pick a couple of films that they grew up with or they've seen in their recent life that have impressed them enough to, you know, make them want to go somewhere. Like, did we watch something when we were younger that made us really want to pursue a career, or did we see something as an adult that did the same thing? So I've got a couple here, but I want to hear what these boys have got to first. So I'm going to start with Justin first, because he was like pre-warned me that he's got some bangers to present. So
I was hyping it way. Yeah, no, that's yeah.
Well, there we
I
go.
said you'd be surprised. I didn't say it would be a good surprise.
Well, it's all right then. We'll start low instead of ending on the lowest. We'll start low and then we'll end high. It worked out for everybody.
There you go. You know what I love about this question, and what I love about getting this question early is because I think of, okay, well, what's influenced me or what's had an effect in my life is not something, at least not for me, that when I'm viewing it or when I'm going through it, I'm like, oh, this is going to have this kind of impact on my life. Or, you know, like, I know you gave some examples like Fast Times at Ridgemont High that make you want to pool when you're older. And I know that's just like, you're giving an example. I was like, well, no, I can't really say a TV or movie influenced me so outwardly in that way where I was like aware of it, like, like a call for action, right? But I started thinking of, well, what are some shows that I really liked? And there must be a reason, right? Other than that it's funny or whatever as I'm growing up. And I was thinking of like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air is one that always stuck with me. I always really liked it. I was like, why did I like that show so much? And that's what I like about this question is I really kind of was like, took a moment and tried to think about it. And I was like, man, like this is a story of this guy who's moved from his home and his family to go live somewhere else that's completely. And when I was 11, almost 12, my family moved from Vancouver Island to, you know, buttfuck nowhere, Alberta, like small farming town, right? And it was a completely different world. And so I don't know if that's maybe why I related to the show so much, that and even just that character, he's like kind of this goofy, silly guy, you know, kind of, you know, he has no problem being himself. And that's kind of how I always was. And I know when I had that move, it wasn't like that. Like I hated it, man. I hated it. Thank God I had hockey, because you know, it allowed me to kind of meet people and make friends right away. But so I don't know if it's like kind of that shared experience, and it's something that I've never thought of before until you asked this question. And then I started thinking about stuff. So that was definitely one that probably had some sort of impact in my life. I can't say it inspired me to do anything or take a career path or make a life decision, but I think maybe it was comforting. And the other one is Little Rascals, because it taught me that it's just okay to hate women, you know, and you can make a club, and that's cool. And there's probably going to be your best friend who's going to backstab you. But at the end of the day, you get over it. And girls are actually pretty cool, and you don't have to hate on them. And
true.
it's okay that when you're in danger, you can put on a woman's tutu and dress like, you know. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with those two.
It's a good tip. Good tip.
So only when in danger. Otherwise, Shao, like what you do on Thursdays, it's kind of weird.
Well, that's obviously wasn't meant to be
He
going.
puts on a
you know,
tutu
public.
on Thursdays. Tutu Thursdays.
Only from 7 to 9. Anyways,
Dance like Ace.
So
In the morning.
in the morning, in the mornings.
Yeah, that's right.
And then to go back to sleep, oddly enough. But then, so for me, there's a couple that kind of stand out as a kid. I know this is not a childhood topic, but you know, as a kid, I think what really stands out to me still, and what stood out to me was physical comedy stuff, because when I went to elementary school or kindergarten, my English is slightly worse than what it is now. Uh, no, it was pretty bad. Still bad actually, but I just couldn't. No, the vocabulary wasn't there. I didn't know how to put certain words together and all that stuff. But because I watched things from or by Stephen Chow, or who, for those of you who don't know, he did Kung Fu Hustle, Shaolin Soccer, and his influences when he made movies. He loved cartoons. He loved classic American comedy, physical actors. He loved Looney Tunes, so you can kind of see it in his movies. I loved Jim Carrey stuff, and I loved Mr. Bean. So those were shows to me that you didn't really need to communicate verbally. You can just be silly by being goofy and doing physical stuff, and that's how I kind of made friends at the beginning. It was just more making people laugh, and that's kind of how it shaped who I am in a sense. But when it comes to the industry stuff, I really, really appreciated when it came out, Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and something like that, because it's just the definition of just passionate people working together. Your friends, no budget, you just want to just put stuff out there, and your type of humor, and you get together, you write, do everything, right? Because in film school we learn a project, you have to have your pre-production, you have to have casting, you have to cast directors, writers, all these different people in different quadrants and sections coming together to make one project, whereas they had very few, what am I trying to say? They just didn't have those resources. It's just a group of 4 people or 3 people, and they got together to write something that was funny, and they landed Danny DeVito. All these little things, these little victories made this huge show that's on their, I don't even know how many seasons they have. It's insane. 20 something, maybe even more. Anyway, so that to me, even though I haven't watched all of them, it's so funny when I did watch it, and it was just handheld cameras, it was whatever. It didn't have to be a big production, big budget, that kind of stuff. That to me kind of reignited and kind of sparked stuff in me to just get together, and that's why I kind of like being in student projects or low budget projects, because everyone's just not only pulling their weight, but they're trying to help in other
Collaboration.
More collaboration. I love that. It's just sometimes even when I was in Hong Kong, still there were times where I would be like, why don't I can't, just for an example, if I don't have a scene across the street, or it's a 7-Eleven or something like that, and it's a hot day, I'll just go get water for everyone, and then the PA would be like, no, it's okay, you shouldn't do that because that's not whatever. But I'm just like, come on, you just want people to be happy and do a good job, and keep the spirits high, and just it's just such a small thing, then let's just do it. You know what I mean? So I love that kind of thing.
Do you have a story of a bad student project?
Yes, there's something I shot quite a long time ago.
Oh no, he's smiling.
Oh, I broke. I was gonna take it back all the way back to the beginning. Just kidding. No, I can't really think of anything that was. I mean, even, quote unquote, if I had a bad time doing it, it's still. Yeah, there was one project in Hong Kong that I did where the scheduling was, all over the place, overtime, no pay, and all that stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, I knew the pay wasn't going to be great, but at the same time, I'm quite lenient on that. I like working with people. I like, you know, just whatever. But the person in charge was just, you know, wasn't a good executive producer and just kind of abusing people and their time and, you know, milking it for what she's got. But that's just one example out of I don't know how many exactly. Thanks, Justin, for.
So that's not even that's a good milking, Justin. I'm not
That's a
sure
good
Shao.
milking.
Shao went through that.
Yeah, that's a
That's
milking table. That's a milking table milking.
It's,
Oh, there you go. Nice,
worked on
very
the
good.
farm.
Hayden, what
It's
about
weird.
you?
They never got me to milk cows though, only the bulls. But Hayden, yeah, what were some movies that?
I just want to say real quickly, I thought back and I was like, I've worked with Justin folks on pretty much every single project I've ever done. The only one that I didn't get him on was because he wasn't allowed to do anything because it was close to graduation.
And also, wasn't that ended up being your best one? Is that a coincidence?
No, well, it had the most moving parts that worked well. It was a film called Bolt Cutter, and I wrote it for a final project, but I didn't get picked. But I was the first student to actually do their final project in the special project round of things, where they gave you the option to do it. So of course everybody was geared up and in their final part of the year, so everyone was like, yeah, let's go. And then I was like, Justin, can you do this? And he's like, no, I'm not allowed to. Like, I think you said yes, but then you were like, I've been
It was maxed out because I was only allowed to do a certain amount, and I'd already done it.
And he was like, I can't fucking do it.
No.
Anyway,
It's like, what do you mean? Like, this would be good for the, like, this is what I'm in school for,
yeah.
is to do this shit. Like,
But yeah,
Anyways.
we did the beginning together, a little zombie film. But then also when I came back to Canada and I did Discovery with you, Justin, Shao, you were actually in town for a bit and you shot still photos for it. So
that's
I
right.
still have them on my computer.
That's right. Fuck.
So for a couple of those, so I was like, oh, we have worked together. And then of course we did a film that's unreleased, folks. It's a little martial
4
arts thing.
seasons, baby.
We did 4 seasons. I'm not talking about 4 seasons. I'm talking about the martial arts one we did. Like
No, I know, but
four seasons
You
too.
did 4 seasons with him.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was a class project.
That's where
one.
Shao learned about continuity.
Continuity. His subway
Sub got, like,
sizes.
7
were-
inches bigger every time he held his
Yeah.
hands up.
He's like, I want a 6-inch. I want a foot long.
Sue me.
Sue you. Do you know how hard that was to edit together?
Must have been hard because his hands were different in every angle.
Well, who was in charge of continuity that day? Come on.
Yeah, Jesus
I have
Christ.
no idea. We
That's
all-
your department, bro. That's your department.
No, because we were all,
I never
whoever
got the
was
notes.
whoever was the script, he didn't catch on to that. So
Also, what the hell were they thinking, like, casting us? Me, you, was it Chris Nielsen, and is it David Gold? Like, what
Mm-hmm.
are they thinking casting us?
they didn't know your personalities back then. They just wanted, we sat in a room for an hour or so debating who was going to be the lead, whether it was David Gold or it was you, because
Yes,
all
and you
the
know what?
ladies were swooning over him, and I was like, what? Like, come on.
They all wanted David Gold, Shao, because he was more handsome than I am. I don't blame him, but it's
But-
upsetting.
Talent, talent-wise, it's not a competition.
Talent works in independent
Just kidding,
filmmaking.
David.
It doesn't work in Hollywood.
I was like, I know this guy that's got the looks and the chops.
But
And
why
they
didn't
didn't
I
want
get
him.
cast?
Yeah, so
Why
why
didn't
didn't
you-
David get the part?
I don't even think you were on anyone's radar at that time, Shao. Like,
I'm sure it wasn't. I didn't.
Not-
I didn't audition for the lead.
that's
Audition
probably
for the.
why.
Because I think I knew that Justin was doing it. So I was like,
So I don't want to go up against him.
I'm like, fuck that. Pack that in,
There
No,
you go.
you're fucking talented, bro.
babe. Stop.
That whole class had talent out the wazoo. And that's why it was a good.
True.
That was a good
Well-
year. Like,
Let's not give credit to some people who don't deserve it. Anyways,
We
Me?
we digressed.
I wasn't
Yeah.
in your class, so I can take that. I did have to do the
No,
acting.
he's obviously talking about Lou Tixon.
Hey, I cast Lou as a lead, as a co-lead.
Bro,
in
that's
the
a
film.
joke. That's a throwback. We've always talked.
We love you,
is who
Lou's a gem.
Lou is who I look, and I've told him this so many times. Lou is who I looked up to in school the most. I remember asking one time. I was like, dude, like, how do you do it? Like, it's so natural. Like, you're so gifted. Like, you go out there, you do a scene, whatever it is, and he's like, I don't know. I just go up there and do it. I was
A
like,
really
oh,
good
fuck.
Lou impression.
So natural. I hate you.
Yeah, he is very natural. There, quick story, Justin. Do you remember? So Justin and I had a few classes together. One of them was like what did
Movement?
Olivia teach?
Movement.
Movement. Yeah, and we had to read
Fire,
poems.
water.
Yeah, we had to read like really depressing poems, or she picked poems for us according to our personality or whatever. And she gave me this really dark, depressing poem about fire in the River Thames and death and all that stuff. And then and then I did it once, and it was like crickets after. And then Olivia asks me, she calls me Chopin. Now Chopin, do you know why I picked that poem for you? I'm like, no clue. It's like, because you are the funniest person in the school. And then I hear Justin, what? and then,
He's like,
and then I
"It's
just remember
me,
that
it's
moment.
me."
I remember that moment so good. This has something to do with that, but another class. Yeah, it's a movement class, and so we learn about breathing. And you do some kind of, it's felt like Tai Chi. And then you kind of do a slow thing. And then I did the horrible thing of doing this exercise next to Justin. And he farted so many times and so loud. Like he kind of like wanted to do it not super loud to draw attention, but loud enough to make me laugh. And I just died. It just a hard time working with this guy sometimes. But
It was.
Oh, God.
We were productive in class, so we got like
we made everyone. We lifted everyone up.
Looking back is when you can tell what something had an effect on you. At the time, no clue. As we all know, I'm old as dirt, and not really. But when I was graduating high school,
Thanks for clarifying that.
I
No,
sound
guys,
pretty good.
I'm not really as old as dirt. Sorry, I couldn't go on. I have to clarify that.
I'm not really old as dirt. I'm a little bit younger. High school for me was year 10. That was when you graduated, and then you could choose whether you wanted to go into the workforce or if you wanted to continue on grades 11 and 12 at a separate school called a college. Now, I've probably said that a million times, but these guys always give me shit for it. You didn't go to college. But I did.
Such a good impression.
It was so good, Shao. He nailed you, man.
So that's exactly how I heard him in my head. But anyway, so when I was graduating high school was around the time when American Pie 2 had come out.
No,
And
he fucked the pie. God damn it.
no, that was American Pie 1. I was too young to have seen that, but I remember being on, we used to take like school trips to go watch the football up in Sydney. So we would get on the school bus, drive up to Sydney, watch the footy, and this guy that was when American Pie 1 came out, I was in grade 8. So obviously far too young to watch that film. But he was like, oh, guys, you've got to watch this film, American Pie. Anyway, when the second one came out, I was old enough to see it in cinema. And it had themes about it that were very true to home. Like everybody was going off because not everybody goes to the same college. They can choose in the district where to go. So the friendship group was splitting up, and but there are a lot of aspects of that film looking back, that I resonated with, and I was like, oh, I actually had, despite the gross out comedy humor of it, which sadly I'd have to say there haven't been films like the American Pie films since those films. It's like a lost genre of the coming of age. The coming of age story sort of became too serious. It lost touch with like the National Lampoons and the more funny films. Anyway, I digress.
Superbad's the last one I can think of.
Yeah, and that was what, 2006?
Or didn't they have a party one? Something. Anyways, yeah. But that's like the last big one for me. That was like, this is
The party like Project X? That one?
that was called. Yeah, that came after Superbad, but I don't know. I don't think it has big of influence on pop culture.
Yeah,
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and even that, like Superbad
And American Pie.
was also at a time when I would have been coming out of first year out of year 12. So same sort of deal, right? Talks about what happens after the fact. And to get sentimental and romantic, I was the biggest non-romantic in my high school years. Never, and I don't know how I landed Alex, but somehow I did. But never dated anyone. Always picked the girl that was already taken to be infatuated with as like a defense mechanism. But like watching that film was, and even like now you've mentioned it's super bad. It was like it gave me, you know, that grasp of hope that there was somebody out there, regardless of what I was dealing with at that time. And so I was like, you know what? It doesn't matter what happens. Friends are going to be friends, hopefully, and the girl that's meant for you, or a guy, whatever way you want to go, is going to be there, or you'll cross paths eventually. So I think that Justin's simulating docking, and Shao is arts and crafting with some scissors.
That's right, 2 scissors.
But, you know,
the whole point of us doing it is so people don't know that we're doing it. And you can't.
Too bad. So sad. It's my turn with
captioning.
My turn with the mic. So it was a good film for that period of my life that I went back to many times for the rewatch value, the laughter, but also I was always like, oh, am I ever gonna find anyone? I sound like such a sad sack, but those films were like that gave you all sorts of hope in a humorous way. So that's like, and that very briefly, if you've ever seen a film called Before Sunrise, I was actually introduced to it by a student in my class, Christopher Commerfeld. But he said that those two films, Before Sunrise and Before Sunset, were his two favorite
ones.
Yeah, were his two favorite films. So it must have been Before Sunset, the second one. Anyway, whatever it was called, the second one. There's a scene in that where he hasn't seen the woman that he fell in love with 10 years prior, for 10 years, obviously. And he spends a day with her. And then at the very end of the film, he's in her apartment and she puts on a song and starts dancing for him. And it's like, it's a fantastic scene. They're watching it. And he doesn't want to leave. He's supposed to leave for his flight to go back to America, but he doesn't want to leave because he's like, I am in love with this woman and I don't want to go. And I was like, I want that, something like that in my life. And I got it when I met Alex. There was like, we had a song that was called Stay a Little Longer, and it was perfect. Like every time I saw her, because we lived in like completely different parts of Vancouver, that I was like, I don't want to leave. I don't want to go. So those are two like big ones that like teenage life, adult life. That's my story. I don't want to go too long. Don't want to go too heavy.
Too late.
I want to hand it over to Justin because he's heavy hearts.
Yeah,
they produce good stories. I'm going to hand it over to Justin because he's got a bag full of fun.
That's not how I describe it, but yes. If you've listened to the show before, even since the beginning, we've kind of always liked to end it, maybe not the very, very beginning, but with something fun, a little game, maybe a little trivia, you know, just to go out on a light note. And I thought, what are we going to do for this one? Because everybody's just kind of picking a segment. What can I come up with? So I thought of just kind of looking back over the time. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to play audio clips for you guys, Shao and Hayden. And you're going to just try and tell me, I'll ask a question. For example, the first one, I'll play a bit of the recording and then I'll pause it. I'll ask you a question and you answer the question about the audio clip. Okay. So some of the audio clips might just be for Shao to answer or for Hayden to answer. Some will be both.
Gotcha.
Some audio clips I'll pull multiple questions from. You will find out as we go through it. So this first one is for both of you, and I'll play it, and then I'll ask you a question.
What one thing I did want to touch on, this is a more of a serious thing, right?
Okay, hold on. Let me get my serious thing out.
Okay, please.
Keep talking.
So, I just wanted to have your input, because I'm sure you guys have both been there. I'm sure a lot of our listeners have been there. What's
Sorry,
Wait, don't.
Sorry.
Okay. Let me get mine.
No way.
No fucking way, dude. Are you kidding me?
My question is,
Episode
what
1
the
nerd
fuck
joke.
was I so excited about?
The real
That's
answer
what we-
or the made-up answer?
No, the real answer.
That was nice little callback because we talked about this earlier. That was episode 1 entitled "Nerd Ropes."
And what was I
Nerd's
so
Rope?
excited? What was I so excited about?
You were excited that you took one out and I took one out, and it was unplanned. And
Okay, let's see what the answer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 2 nerd ropes.
Very good. Yes, 1 for 1. I should have asked Hayden if you wanted to lock it in, if you concur. And I thought that was so funny, Hayden. When you were talking about that in the intro, I was like, no way. That was like literally the first one I had queued up.
yeah, very good.
In sync. Okay. So let me go to the next one here.
Is this one for me?
This one we'll start with for Shao.
Okay.
And if he doesn't get it, Hayden, I'll throw it to you.
Okay.
That first bite, that second bite, just like movie theater popcorn. Try our new flip.
Do you remember what the new flavor of popcorn Hayden was trying to sell you on?
Was it Vegemite or something?
Let's have a listen and find out. And let's also listen to the brand name very carefully. That Hayden-
I remember that.
Reuben vodka or whatever it was.
Vegemite flavored Orville Ruvenbacher popcorn.
that is correct. Vegemite popcorn by Orville Ruvenbacher or whatever he said.
To avoid copyright infringement lawsuits.
Very good. Very good. Okay.
Oh,
Next
man,
one.
that's funny.
Okay. This one is for Hayden.
Oh, geez. I'm going to get this one
Okay. Hold on.
wrong.
When I was in Hong Kong, I lived in an area up in the base of a mountain, and there's a lot of construction going on, and there's marshes, like just stagnant water, and there's a lot of frogs there. They make all these crazy mating noises, and there's one time I was supposed to be going to work or meeting with someone, and on my gate,
Hayden, do you remember what Shao came across on his gate?
2 little froggies doing the frog tango.
Let's
Bumping
have a little
uglies.
listen. Let's have a little listen.
on the handle, there are 2 frogs doing it froggy style. Yeah. And I was like, and I literally
Can
called.
you recreate the sound?
2 froggies doing it froggy style. Very good. Bonus point. Can you recreate the sound the frogs make? Not when they finish. So recreate the sound the frogs make and recreate the sound when they finish. Can either of you? I'll let Hayden go first because Shao, you might remember.
I don't remember the sound that they made.
Take a guess. Just go for it.
Froggy sounds when they're finishing or when they're during.
You do during.
Okay, let me give you a
You do
let me
during.
give you a hint. Let me give you a hint.
Be like
For- Nope. Let me give you a hint. Let me give you a hint.
Okay, so these frogs, they call them. Oh, what are they? But they make cow noises. Oh, Tito. They go like.
They make cow noises. Do you
They
want to
make
try
cow
again?
noises. Moo. But it would be a frog. So it'd be-
Shao, do you remember?
It should go more up in the end. It's like a.
Let's have a listen.
I don't know how they finish.
Very good.
That's like
And when they finish,
exactly
That's
the
what
same.
they sound like. How does it sound like when they're done?
how does it sound like when they're done?
It goes down.
I think that's how my combo
Okay.
would work. I don't remember.
It goes up. Yeah. It goes back down. It goes down. Yeah, so relieved.
Oh.
Right. Yeah.
You're right. It goes
Relieved.
It goes back down.
Whoa.
Very good.
That's fun. I
I'm
don't
really
remember these.
impressed with you guys.
These are good.
Okay, this one is for Shao.
Okay.
Because when we were at the Cannes Film Festival, we were walking around the like bar district, and we went up to there was like these big like red doors on this like fancy looking place to the side. Because we didn't want to go home yet. We're like, oh, we'll see who's out.
It was a Tuesday.
Yeah,
We wanted to go partying, but it was a Tuesday in Cannes. It is, yeah.
Like, and if you're in the big VIP parties, yeah, it's great. But if you're not, you kind of got to find where it's at.
Right.
And we walked into this, like, this guy's like, hey, you guys come into this one. Come into here.
It was so sketchy.
We went through the door.
Do you remember what was on the other side of the door?
Oh no. Okay. 10 seconds. I'm gonna give myself 10 seconds. Other side of the door.
I'll talk for a bit. I'll talk. Yeah, it was really weird, Hayden. Hey, the experience going there, we thought it was gonna be this great time. He opens the door and it was like, holy shit! Like, what are we getting ourselves into here?
Something
It was. We're like,
far
no,
beyond
we gotta go.
the euros that we had in our pockets.
Because
We couldn't have afforded that bar.
What I remember most about that kind of the story part of that segment was you guys not knowing that alcohol was free in the plane. Was that the same trip?
Same trip.
And then
Yeah.
you guys got plastered on whiskey or something, if I remember
Yep.
correctly.
Whiskey and
That's
coffee.
what I remember most from that story, but I do not remember what's on the other side of the door. Fuck.
Okay, let's find out what's on the other side of the door.
And it was a nice joint, nice establishment. As soon as we went through the door, the entire bar was like full of beautiful women. They all whipped around like they had whiplash. Just went, whoosh. And we were like, all right, see you guys.
It was
All
definitely
right.
a modern bar. You know what the best part about that, Shao, is? That is literally what Hayden said. He does literally. It was the most
All right.
uncomfortable experience ever. It's like that's his finishing sound. That's his own noise.
All
All right.
It was the same trip. Like, see, because that whole trip we had various circumstances where we'd come across beautiful women behind closed doors. First lot was when we were in Amsterdam. Same thing. Justin had the reaction that time because it's just like suddenly a woman would appear out of the darkness and you're like, what the? Huh? And then we walked into a room, the same thing. No glass this time. I was like, oh. I think we were not told what we were supposed to be told before I walked in here.
Yeah, speak no English. Gotta go.
Yep. Let me
Okay,
just
this
run to the
next one-
ATM.
This next one is going to be a bit trickier. Okay. It's really going to test you. It's for both of you because the answer is made up. We made a joke out of it. So I'll pause it and we'll see if you remember how it went. It's called Sit or Stand, a question for men.
How often or do you guys at all sit when you pee?
More often than not. Standing is okay. There's times to stand.
Of course.
There's times to stand. I'm gonna let Hayden answer this first, actually, because I've already been talking a lot, and
he's
I think
gonna grind
he's caught
teeth,
his breath now, and so because mine is gonna be a whole spiel.
A whole
sitting down
spiel.
pee. I don't wash my hands, and I sit down when I pee.
I don't feel like Hayden's a sitter.
No, he's a man. He is a man's man.
Do you remember how Hayden takes his pants off and goes pee? That's such a weird question to ask.
Was this
That's
where
such a
I was
weird
like,
question.
I wasn't one of those people that like all the way to the ground stands there bare ass at the
No,
urinal?
it was the answer isn't real. It was we just started
Made it up.
spiraling and just how does he take his pants down? How does he
I
take
do
his
remember-
pants down? That's
Okay.
that's it. How does he take his
Okay,
pants
because
down?
I do remember Hayden when you said something about you're the type that has the whole pants down, like all the way down to
No,
your
no, no.
ankles.
I'm
I
not
do-
one of those people. There's
No, I
always that
remember
one.
I
There's
think
always that
we-
one
I
guy.
I think we made that joke, but then how he gets it down is the question.
Yeah.
Hands free.
Hands free. I feel like it's.
Oh yes. Okay. Do you want to elaborate, or you just want to go hands free? Is good.
I feel like his hands would go up and he just like shimmies, and like his pants just fall down. Kind of.
Do you? Are you
That's what we
okay with
think.
that answer, Hayden?
Yeah, sure.
Are you
unless-
okay? Are you okay with
It's
that?
not like I pull out a special flute and it's like a snake that comes and unzips me. It's not like that. So
Ooh,
I'm gonna
that's
go.
a good one too. Though. That's a
Oh.
good one.
Let's find out.
Zoop. There we go, boys.
It's time to go pee.
I can do it without my hands. Just wriggle it around and then
He actually undoes his pants and pulls his underwear down.
Without using hands.
With only his penis.
So the answer came from you, Justin.
Yeah, it was a wiggle. It was a wiggle. You were right, but I did try and take it a step farther. I have that problem sometimes. It's okay. I've been working on it. Okay, I got one more.
Okay.
Okay, this one is titled. Maybe we'll do more. We'll see. This one's titled "Misgendered Goat."
That would be
We
my goal.
started to realize that he still had one nugget left, so they didn't neuter him properly. So he had one going, which was enough testosterone for him to develop into. So we had to go get him surgically remove the second one before he became a full-on.
That's weird to me. That seems like a choice. That's a choice.
What's weirder is that they thought he was a she when he was born. So they misgendered him.
Well, did you ask him?
Yeah,
Did
what
you
does
ask
he
him
think?
what he?
Do you remember what the goat said when he was asked what gender he was or she?
Well, these are your goats, Hayden. We're talking about your goats.
I think I remember.
We would ask what his pronouns are, and then he said,
Remember what the goat said
It was like,
when he answered?
I'm a boy, or something like that. Blah, 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 blah.
Shao, do you have a guess?
I hope that's the answer. Play it.
Let's find out. Let's find out.
Yeah, man. Sounds like a man.
That's close.
That was really good.
I'm a man, I'm a boy. Blah, blah, blah.
That's good.
I like that you
Not
went
as
for
good.
boy first, though.
Well,
Yeah,
these
for
are all
boy
from
first.
like beginning episodes. I feel like all
These-
studio
yeah.
episodes.
In
And you
Stu's
guys
episodes.
crushed it. You guys got them all. Yes, I did go back because I wanted to be. It's been a year. Let's go back and remember some of the earlier times. I don't have more. All those clips are from past episodes, from social medias, TikTok, at Chummy Thumbs. If you want to go back, we got a ton of content out there. There's some pretty funny stuff. We've really had a good time over this year, and yeah, I was happy to play that with you boys. You guys absolutely smashed it. It was fun to look back on some of those old moments. Do you know? Let's go back. Let's go back to another story. Okay. Do you know what our most just a random goat noise? Do you guys know the story that's had the most social media views and how much it is?
Oh,
Oh no.
Okay, I'm gonna play it, and then you see if you remember the story. I know Shao will.
She has a bucket of ping pong balls, and she's just kind of warming up by just putting the ping pong in her vag, and just kind of like in out, in out, in out, in out, in out, and she's very casually. Exactly. I'm very casually talking to someone, a staff, and say, "Oh yeah, like, and and then we're like, what's happening?" And then and then the light.
Thai.
Yeah, I took Thai.
You got
for
all that,
6
eh?
years. Yeah. And so
What's on the dinner menu tonight?
yeah. Very good, very good. And then so once the show started, she was just starting to just shot like, and then she'll aim, she'll look at your table, and then you'll be like, yeah. And then you're supposed to hit it, and then my girlfriend at the time hit the ball, bounce, and land in someone's drink.
Oh, did they drink it?
Do you drink it, Hayden?
they
Do you
did drink
remember?
it. They did drink
And
it.
do you remember where he was from? The guy that drank it?
Oh, he's probably Australian, wasn't he? In Thailand, drinking a.
And that guy was so stoked.
Yeah,
He was American.
American.
Oh, yeah. And we're like, oh, okay.
American. Throwback to your shirt,
Yeah, throwback
Mr.
to sure.
USA.
That has the most
Uh,
engagement. That's
Yeah, I was gonna say that
Yeah.
was the one that has the highest.
Isn't that that's funny? I
Yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta get in trouble
Thailand.
from the Thai people.
I want to end it on the ping pong story. I don't know why. Should have ended it one before. I do want to get to this game or this monologue thing, but we'll get to it in another episode. Let's take this time before we wrap it up completely, because I want to ask you guys this instead.
Okay.
Is there, reflecting back over the year, is there a moment or anything that stands out to you? Or maybe it's just doing the whole thing in general, or anything reflecting back over the course of the year that, yeah, you want to talk about, stands out to you, affected you in a way, adolescent did you, or whatever that word Hayden tried to make up earlier.
I'm a writer. I can make words up.
Way to just bring some deep questions on us. Wish you had some time to prep. I think that
How does it feel, Justin?
just I guess just, you know what, there's so many funny moments. I mean,
I'm bringing
even the
up
ones
the
that you just
diarrhea
brought,
now, for sure.
even the ones you just brought up that have been dormant in my head. I just really liked the beginning of us trying to figure it out. We didn't have anything planned. We didn't have any whatevers. Just, I do miss seeing you guys in person a lot. It's still fun. It's different, but it's fun. Viewers, if you go from the beginning, listening from the very beginning, you might have heard some of our, the beginning. Yes. Check that out. Is that on YouTube?
It is.
Yeah, check it out on YouTube. You might have heard there are times when we have gotten frustrated with our equipment, technical issues, and these are all things that I knew were going to happen. And even though they happened, and then sometimes it ruined complete episodes or kind of derailed a lot of different things. Those to me were still fun, because it's just the process of trying to figure out big project between three people and just working. Or none of us are pros at it. We know basics, but we just wanted to work on this together. And what sticks to me is even those hard, challenging times and annoying times, frustrating times, going through it with you guys, it's still fun to me. Every time it gets better, it's easier, and we learn more about each other and how we tick. And Justin likes to drink on the job, and Hayden loves to do improv and impressions. We learn more and more things about each other, and we can just bring it out on the best in all of us. So just this whole journey, this year-long journey has been fun, and I can't wait to get back in the studs with you guys soon. That's my little quip.
You broke Justin. You broke him good.
Man, when somebody sometimes they say something and it just gets you, it's so unexpected. He was, and then just the way he said that line so casually,
So
could have been all the alcohol and drugs I've been doing too. Because he's not wrong, Wait, this is a job? Are you kidding me? Shit, I didn't clock in. Hayden.
I had my little bit in the opening monologue, but I was trying to address the whole then. But for me personally, I appreciate, because you two boys are professional actors by trade and I'm not. And you, throughout our last 51, 52 episodes, there have been moments where these guys put me on the spot for acting things, impression things, and it was a challenge for me, but it was something that I wanted to do. So, and they were always they didn't shit on me for being bad at it. So maybe they did off camera, but who knows, or off mic. But I appreciated the fact that they were supportive enough and made it lighthearted there, and they gave me the time to do it. And I feel like I got a little bit better over the 52 years, but who knows? 52 years over the 52 episodes.
That's why it's felt so long.
It's been such a long show. But that's the thing that I liked for the previous year gone. Yeah, like Shao said, being in the same room is a different energy to work off each other, but being here and seeing you boys on camera is as close as we can get, and it's worked well for us. But I do look forward to being able to sit in the same room again and try out the same things and see if we have to readjust or if the dynamic is going to be there straight away. But that's my last year's highlights, was being supported by you guys in my endeavors to expand my skills set beyond what it is. So many thanks.
I noticed you have been diving into it more, whereas beginning there were a couple of times where you just didn't want to do it.
Delay. I had to build up
I mean, you
so
still
much.
delay, but it's just less delay now.
Yeah, I definitely got more confident talking on mic, even though we're not live talking to anyone. But it's because of you guys. So and you made it easy to mess up and try again. So
Made it easy to mess up. Appreciate that, Hayden. I hope that's written on my tombstone. I wasn't expecting you
thing?
guys. No, just the made it easy to mess up.
find that transcription of what Hayden
It's a
said.
9,000-ton tombstone.
That's a big
45,000 feet high.
Yeah. By the time somebody got to the end of it, they'd probably be lying dead next to it. I wasn't expecting you guys to get so sentimentally. I was just going to talk about Shao having diarrhea while we recorded and only muted the mic, and we got all the video. But
No proof. No proof. Oh shit, there's video. Fuck.
There is.
Yeah, man. Like Shao, dude. I love doing this. It's great seeing you guys, chat with you guys, bullshit with you guys, getting to be myself, judgment free from you. Probably lots from the listeners, but that's fine. When we were getting together though, man, fuck, like that's the shit, you know, like getting to do this with you guys, getting to see you guys every week. I know we live
In
like
different
3
countries.
opposite fucking area codes, so it's gonna make it hard, but hopefully coming in the next couple months here, maybe we might be able to start doing that. And if that's the case, everybody, we're gonna actually try and do our first live episode, which God help us, because Hayden saves these episodes with the amount of fucking cutting he does before they get released. But for me, that's the best part. And whether we're doing a show like this where everybody comes with a topic, which is kind of how it was a little bit in the earlier days, this is maybe more film related, but or if we're following a show, like just getting to come and talk with you guys about it and how that relates, how we can relate it to our lives, and the stories you get to hear, the more, because every week to week, like, you know, I learn more about you guys and you probably learn more about me, and just, it's so easy to chat with you guys, you know? Like, I think it was last episode, I was like thinking about it after, I was like, oh, did I really talk about some of that shit? Not thinking that other people would listen. Like, I'm just chatting with you guys, you know what I mean? So I love that. So a big echo to what all you said. If you've made it this far, thank you for listening to all that mushy gushy stuff, because that was very personal for us. But it's, you know, nothing to scoff at doing this for 52 episodes. You know, a lot of people don't make it this long. So kudos to you guys.
Kudos to you guys as well.
Kudos to the listeners. Thank you for coming back every week. If this is your first episode, thank you for tuning in. If you liking the show, subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Like I said, a lot of those sound bites, all those sound bites I got off, actually you could find on our social medias, TikTok or Instagram, probably on the Reels. So follow us there too. And you can go back through some old stuff, some of the highlighted moments. But no, not but. I don't know why I said but. So yes, thank you for tuning in, and come back next week. We don't know what we're doing yet. We'll probably figure it out after this. But until then, keep on
Keep on
Thumbin.
thumbing.